little gusto this time.
All
There we
right.
go. All right. This is exciting. Ready? All right. Go ahead.
Hey, everybody. I'm Joe,
Hi, I'm Lzzy from HALESTORM,
and you're watching MULATSCHAG.
the only TV you need.
Bam.
Do you know a girl called Caitlin Hale?
No, but she's probably a long-lost cousin of mine, I'm sure.
Could well be. She's the blondie in School of Rock in the movie.
Interesting. That's awesome. Well, you
did
never
not know
know.
that.
We're going to have to meet and try to figure this out.
Yes.
Yes. We'll put her through some tests.
Well,
Yeah.
we should be able to tell in about 5 minutes whether she's a real Hale. Just about 5 minutes of talking to any Hale, and you're pretty weirded out, and you're like, oh, that's a Hale.
Yeah, we're all a little crazy.
She's got a good voice, though. She's one of the
She does.
choir girls in School of Rock.
Well, that's awesome.
Sweet.
Yeah, last time we talked 3 years ago, you were just voted hottest chick in metal.
Yeah.
But it seems like, let's say, one of the most powerful ladies in metal.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Like every rock star calling you, hey, come on, can we sing a song with you?
I know. I'm getting around, and it's fun. I don't know. It's really cool. We've been a band for a while, and just everything just kind of keeps moving, and I don't know. I think that this past year has been the busiest and the most fun. I feel like so it just keeps getting better and better.
Well, come on, let's say past 3 years. Just explain for rock musicians here in Austria, because they figure when they go on a tour with, let's say, 10 dates, that's like awesome, You've been on tour
Yeah.
pretty much all the time.
Pretty much, yeah. We haven't
Yeah.
seen home.
We don't stop much.
Yeah,
we'll do, like, just this year alone, I forget how many. We've had a few days at home, not many. This summer we did, like, 4 months straight of just from beginning of June, we went to South America, and then from there we started our U.S. tour immediately, and went around the U.S., went to Japan, did Alaska, Hawaii, another way around
Yeah.
the U.S., and just coast hopping across the states this summer. And in the spring we were here in Europe, and then we were at the Grammys in February and recording the cover EP. So it hasn't really slowed down.
stopped.
How many U.S. tours have you done so far? I mean,
Just-
must be more than
yeah,
10, right?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
Total, I have no idea.
Yeah.
It's constant. So
Before we even signed a record deal in 2005, we had done over 1,000 shows just in our region, East Coast of the U.S. So who knows?
Yeah,
It's
who
just a
knows?
lot.
it's easier to say, well, how much time have you had at home?
Yeah.
Which is
It's been about a month total.
a month total
this
at
year.
home, maybe this year.
Well, Christmas is coming. Do you have any
Yeah.
time for
We'll have
that?
2 weeks off then, and then we start writing our next record as soon as Christmas is done. So
Well, you've mentioned the Grammys. Wow.
Yeah.
right.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you.
not
We-
something everybody gets.
Yeah, we had no idea. We didn't expect it. Even after we were nominated, we're like, okay, well, that's really cool that we were nominated, but we're definitely not going to win. So let's
Yeah.
just go and have fun and go to
we'll
the parties.
We'll go to the parties. It'll be a blast. And then, I thought Lamb of God was going to win. I was like, that record's amazing. They totally deserve it. And then they called our name, and I was like, what? You lose your mind a little. It was
Yeah.
fun.
It was also Maiden, Anthrax, and Megadeth.
Yeah.
And Marilyn Manson, and Lamb of God. Crazy.
Like, then they throw us in there. What the hell are you thinking? No, it was very cool. What a tremendous honor. And yeah, like Joe said, it's like we lost our minds a little bit. We were all just like the rest of the day, we're like, we just won a Grammy. That's so weird. So, yeah.
Yeah, Mark was saying that, like this whole tour, it's all a Grammy club.
Yeah, right?
He got one.
Yeah,
I know.
with
He's
Creed
one of
they
the
had
very
some, and-
few that I know that actually we know that have one.
Yeah,
so
right?
It's very cool. It's a good. I don't know. I think that it's a good thing for rock, and it's a good. Hopefully, we're holding some torches high and just kind of proving that people actually do come to shows. Everybody loves rock and roll. Maybe we're not the most popular genre always, but we never go away. So.
Yeah. Well, I hope so.
Me too.
We'll come into some covers.
Yes.
one thing is, a friend of mine called me up and said, "Have you heard Lzzy destroying Slave to the Grind?"
Thank you very much. That's awesome. No, we love doing that stuff, especially because, in this day and age, you can't just go out on one tour and then stop and do another record and do another tour. We've been on this album cycle for what?
Year and a half.
A year and
Coming
a half,
up on
almost
2
2
years.
years.
It'll be 2 years in April.
So in order to keep things interesting for ourselves and our fans, just for something to put out there, we like doing these little cover EPs. So we've done in between every cycle. We'll probably do another one. I don't know. It's fun for us, It's like these are songs that we love and that challenge us, and especially considering it's usually under pressure. Like, okay, you got like 6 days. Let's get 6 songs done. A song a day. We're going. Boom. And it's done. Like it or hate it,
Isn't it weird these days? We were talking about that, like with singers, especially like modern rock singers. Back in the day, you'd make a record like AC/DC or Zeppelin, do a world tour, go back in the studio, make another record, do a world tour. Now it's you make a record and then you're on tour for 2 years, 2 to 2.5 years. And I don't think half those amazing singers would have been able to make it the way they partied and carried on.
Well, the other thing is that there was no YouTube back then either,
Yeah.
so we have no idea,
There's a few bootlegs here and there, but
how they were night to night. But yeah, it is strange. The industry has changed, and really our bread and butter is being out and playing every night to people, and we love doing it, thankfully. It's like we're not tired of it at all, but every night is exciting. But yeah, it's definitely a different time.
Who picked the song "Slave to the Grind"? Was it you?
No, that was actually a suggestion by one of our friends, and we all like looked at each other like, really? Should we be able to? Can we do this? Okay, let's try it. So yeah, we did it, and it was so refreshing because that type of tempo and angsty type song was something that we hadn't really attempted before. So because we did that song, we ended up writing Love Bites, because we're like, we need a song like this that
the idea of finding, like, for the new covers EP that came out, we picked Dissident Aggressor, the Priest song, because we love the groove, and then the beginning is that great that help. We're like, man, it would be fun to hear Lzzy do that, so
Lzzy, can you hit this? Sure. Why not?
Speaking of songwriting, that has changed, I guess. I mean, from first record to the second, I mean, it's like a real huge difference.
Well, you only hope that you continue to grow and continue to keep moving forward. I think with us, it's always been very natural. We've always written what we thought is fun, or what, being influenced by whatever we're listening to at the time and whatever gets us excited. I think that it's always a step forward, whether it's a good step forward or not, who knows? But
just chase the songwriting dragon.
Yeah, always chasing that dragon.
No, really the things that excite you and that you get off on and make you feel good musically. You just when you come on something, you're like, oh, that's good. Now how do we expand that and make that better? And that's just what we're always chasing. That's the goal.
In the credits. On the last record, it's except the first song, "Love Bites," it only says "Hale" in the credits. Does that mean it's RJ and you?
No. It's we write songs in a lot of different ways in this band, because we live very chaotic lives, and so it depends on who brings something first or whatever. Sometimes songs start with RJ. He'll play something and we'll get inspired to write something in that tempo or that groove. A lot of times it starts with me, and then I end up bringing it to the guys, and they help me make it cool, Or Joe has riffs for days, and a lot of times, actually lately, we've been writing a lot of stuff together, him and I. So it's it depends. It depends on where you are and who's in the room and whether we get anything accomplished. And I really like writing with other people as well. I'm very lucky to have gotten to know a lot of these awesome people out on the road, and just some great musicians that end up saying, hey, why don't you come over? We'll write a song. And then sometimes it ends up on the record. Sometimes it doesn't. So, yeah, I don't know. It's fun all the way around.
That's what it's supposed to be. Well, I forgot, but one other cover I wanted to talk about. I wasn't really that happy, to be honest.
It's okay.
That Lita Ford cover.
Oh, with Device.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was David Draymond's doing. I mean, we had talked about doing that song since 2010, actually, when we were out with Taste of Chaos, and he had mentioned it to me, and I'm like, I'm in whenever you get that ready. And so, 2 years goes by, and I'm like, oh, that was just tour talk. He doesn't really want to sing with me. And then I get a call out of the blue, and he's like, hey, I have this new project called Device, and I already have everything recorded. You just got to come and sing it. So I went for a day and sang with him, and we got it done. But I mean, I love the guy. I think he's freaking awesome, and I think he took a huge risk by separating himself from Disturbed, and but it's really, really cool to see him branch out and do that, because I think that in rock and roll, we used to be the risk takers and we used to be the trendsetters, and now it's all the pop people that are doing that now. Everyone's trying to figure out how to wear a bowling ball on their head and be fashionable, whereas we used to do that. But so I think it's really neat. I respect anybody that is able to say, you know what, I'm going to try something totally different and just put myself out there and start all over again. I think it takes a lot of guts.
Yeah, the song is not that bad.
It's probably my fault, actually. It would have been fine if David
love
had
it,
just
man.
done it.
I think it's a great version of that song. It gives me chills when I hear it, and I love hearing him do it live. It rips. It's awesome.
See, it came out when I was about 20 or something, so maybe I got a different reception of that.
True. Yeah, so I mean, I love the original version. I think that's just classic, and as is the risk with anytime you do a cover, especially something that's that classic, and if you want to, you have to either do it absolutely exactly the same way and hope that you beat it, which you never will. Sometimes you do, but it's hard with a classic song like that, or you have to completely separate yourself from it. So, I don't know. You always do the best you can and hope people actually enjoy it.
But I'm looking forward to when you're gonna meet her, Lita.
Yeah, you know what? I've met her in passing, but I don't know if she actually knows who I am. But we've met at a couple award shows and like, hey, how you doing? Hi, but it's more in the hallways.
But I've read she's going back on tour now. She put out a record.
Yeah, she's been touring a bunch.
Actually, one of our friends
he's playing bass for her.
Playing bass for her. So
we always see pictures of him out on the road somewhere. So she's playing a lot.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's good to see.
Around 60, 58 or something.
It's awesome. Gives me hope.
Yep. Well, Cher is about 140 and she still plays. So
you would know it, yeah.
One more thing. The song "Mr. Misery." I didn't know that your parents got divorced.
Yeah, I mean,
when was that?
Recently, actually, it's not entirely final. These things take time, apparently. But I don't know. I mean, I think with anything, it's always sad to see people that have once really got along after 30 some years be like, you know what, we got to call it quits. If anything, I mean, like I owe a lot to my parents for being the cool parents and letting us break all the rules and start a rock band, which is really cool. But I don't know. I think that just being involved as a kid in both sides, I mean, both parties actually, had said that to me. Like, I know we're not living together now, but, even though we don't want to be together, sometimes you miss those things. You miss the drama and you miss the misery, you miss the fights and you miss the hard times because that's what you've been used to for so long, so when all of a sudden it goes away and you're like, there's a hole missing. And I think that's, with anybody too, not even just personally from my experience with my parents, but also, I mean, look at all these people that will troll Facebook looking for their ex-boyfriends or ex-girlfriends and just totally like screw with themselves and be like, oh, just torturing themselves online. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know you've done it. Come on. But so I don't know. I think it's part of human nature too. Just we're all addicted to drama. How many people would rather watch a train wreck than a love story any day?
Who of the two had to leave the tour? Because they were both involved, right?
Yeah. True. Well, I mean, it that actually happened more naturally. That wasn't even necessarily because of the divorce, but there comes a point in time where the parents have to be parents and the kids have to be kids, and sorry dad, sorry mom, no more out on the road. Time for the babies to fly out of the nest. So that happened more just for professional reasons. But then I think that in turn from them, after being out on the road with us for so long, basically they said, well, now what? All we have is each other. Well, that sucks. No, it's good because I've seen both of them and they're both much happier, separated. So, yeah.
Well, we have to be quick. One more thing. Here's to Us has huge potential for the Halestorm anthem. It's like everybody can sing, no matter how drunk.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's why I like it.
We're gonna test that theory soon.
Test it every night.
We got a whole cooler full of beers. We're gonna test it tonight. No, but yeah, I mean that song really was written personally for us because we've been a band for over 10 years now, and we've been through a lot of ups and downs, man. And
you grew up being a band.
Oh yeah, definitely. There has never been anything different in my life. But one thing that we used to do back in the day, we still kind of do, even though now people think it's funny that I'm carrying around empty bottles. But we used to, anytime that there was a milestone that we would cross, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, we'd go out and get a cheap bottle of wine or a cheap bottle of champagne, and we would toast to it and be like, here's to us, guys, because no matter what, it's about the journey. It's not about whether things are good or bad. It's about all of that. It's about the fact that we get to do what we love with the people we love. So that's where that song came from, and luckily a lot of people can relate to it.
So one night you had too much beer and
Pretty
you
much.
called a couple friends.
Yep.
And did that.
We've had many of those parties.
Yeah.
Many of the Here's to Us parties.
No, I mean the one version with Mark.
everybody on it.
Yeah, Miles is on
yeah.
it.
Miles,
Dave is on
Slash,
it.
Well,
Dave, Brent,
that's the cool thing too, is that
Maria,
not only
Tyler, Mark.
yeah, all of those people,
Everybody.
everybody that we knew. Thankfully, they all said yes and wanted to be involved in that. But the extension of our band, not just the four of us, but we have our road family and the people that have given us a leg up over the years, and people, like Miles and Mark on this tour, the Alter Bridge, that say, hey, come and do a tour with us, and so we get to experience all these things, and so it was kind of our way of trying to say thank you, and let's all be involved in this song. So.
Excellent.
MULATSCHAG!